It is autumn and we are making the Autumn Day quilt by Pat Sloan. Like this. This is what the quilt looks like. Today I'm going to finish up the last step of the quilt before we put it together. I've completed section A, B, C, D, E, and F. Now we are going to assemble the blocks to how it's supposed to be. So what I'm going to do is take you with me and assemble the blocks so that way we can place them in the quilt as to where it's going to go. And I will also do the applique part of the quilt, which looks something like this. Is what the applique part of the quilt looks like. So I'm going to attempt the applique. So the story with me and applique is you're not really friends, but you know each other, and then you see each other, you're like, oh yeah, how are you? Kind of, you know it's there, but you just kind of like acknowledge it and you just keep going on. That's the relationship with me and applique. So we know of each other, but we just kind of say hi and we just go our own separate ways. And we know I know it exists and it knows I'm here, but we just don't cross. So anyways, that's the relationship with me and applique. But guess what, with this quilt I'm going to give it a try, and I'm going to use my Jonome M7, which has all the stitches that I don't even know about on it. So I will use it to attempt the applique. So I don't even have an excuse not to attempt the applique portion of this quilt. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. So stay tuned and let's sew. So I have my A here, my B piece, C, D, E, and F right here, all stacked up together. So there you go. This pattern is wanting us to pair B and E, which is the first one. So we're going to pair B and E right here. We're going to pair them together like this, okay? And then we're going to pair C. So we're going to pair C block with the F block right here. So this is it right here. I'm going to put them right there. Then the third wants us to piece A and D together. So this is my A and this is my D. So I have 3 sets right here. First set, second set, and third set. Okay. Actually, no, I think I should just put A and D like this, and B and E, and then C and F, so I can get my brain right. So I'm going to take my A and D piece, and I'm going to place it, take my D, so my D block, I'm going to place it like this, and I'm going to take my A block, and I'm going to place it with the yellow facing up that way. And then with this one, the yellow is going to be meeting like that. So that's how that's going to look for the first step, okay? This is my applique right here that I'm going to use for the pumpkin, and that's the stem. I've cut individual one of it right here. That's what I'm going to be doing shortly. So I have my A and my D. So what I'm going to do is just piece the 4 blocks together. For this part, I'm just going to finger press before I use my iron, and I'm pressing to the opposite side. I will pin so my seam does not move, and then I'll sew. I have complete block 1 of the third section of this quilt. So that's what it's going to look like. Okay, I'm going to put it right there. And the next thing, so we're going to take our block E, just like we did with the other one. We're going to put it like that. And then we're going to take this right here and put it like this. And then make sure the yellow is meeting in the middle, whatever color you are doing. This is also a scrap busting quilt. Like you could take all your pieces and put them together. You can also use Christmas colors. You can use fall colors like these. You can use bright colors. Just kind of like make sure your patterns are right, whatever color you're using. You can just kind of get rid of your scrap like this. Okay, so now what I'm doing is sewing this, and we're going to do the same. I have sewn block 2 right now. So this is what this is looking like. And these two are meeting and these two are meeting. Whatever color you've chosen here have to match with this. All right, so that's 2. And then we're going to do block 3. Now you can guess where we're going with this. The same thing with the first 2. We're going to make sure our F is meeting like this. And then we're going to make sure our C is meeting like this. We've completed 1, 2, and this is our third one that we're going to do. We're going to do the same thing we did with the first 2. I'm going to sew this 2, I'm going to sew this 2, and then join them together, and I'll meet you here. Here is block 3 completed with everything joined together. So I'm going to bring them together now so you can see everything. So this is the last one we just did. This is the first one, and this is the second one. So this is what our block is going to look like when we assemble it on the wall. Okay, I wanted to just put this like this so you could see how the pattern is kind of looking. So now we're going to do the applique part of the quilt. I have here my orange piece. So I am using the Heating Bond Light, and this is the sewable. The one that's sewable is always purple, and the one that's non-sew is typically, I believe, is red. It will say non-sew on there. But I'm working with this one today. And if you're using this kind of interface, there are different brands, but this is the brand that I like. Make sure you read your instruction on them because some of them, the instruction does vary. This is the part that goes on the fabric. I'm not cutting out any extra pieces. I'm just going to iron it on. I'm going to place, I've cut my pieces out. I'm going to put it on top like this to make sure it's the right size. So I'm putting it on like this. And then I would iron this piece onto my fabric and cut it out. So I have my little iron here. I'm just going to, it doesn't even have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfectly on the fabric. It's just going to be on like this, and I'm just going to iron it like really light iron, like that. So it's stuck onto the fabric. And this is the paper part. The other part right here, it's what is stuck onto the fabric. So I pin it down like that with a 2-pin, and I'm just going to simply cut around it with a scissors. I'm going to do it like this. So I'm going to cut outside of the black line like that. This was drawn, hand drawn, so I don't think it needs to be perfect. I mean, I still want it to look like the book and some kind of pumpkin. I did cut this exactly to the size. I'm going to take the stem. So I have the stem already ironed on here. I'm going to just pin it down. I'm going to pin it down. I am not particular about, you know, if the pin poked through my fabric or whatnot. I'm not too particular about that. I'm just going to cut it. By the time you sew the quilt is done, it wouldn't even matter with the pin and how big the needle was or whatever. So I'm just going to cut. And yes, I use the same scissors with cutting papers and fabric because I have little kids and they work with scissors. I don't spend a lot of money on my scissors because right now they don't even know the difference between fabric scissors and regular scissors. I bought this, it's like a pack from Tuesday Morning. It's like 15 of them. I think I spent like, I want to say $24 on all those packs. It really doesn't hurt my feeling they cut papers with it because it is what it is right now with my kids. So this is what this is going to look like when it's all done. Actually, let me put it this way. This is what the pumpkin's going to look like when it's all done, just like this. Okay. What I'm going to do now is move over to my other machine and applique this onto the actual fabric. So I have marked 2 inches away from the end of the fabric and then 2 inches away from the end of the pumpkin right here. So what I'm going to do is put the pumpkins on like this. So it will be right perfect into it like that. And then the stem will sit just like this on top like that. So what I'm going to do now is just take off the paper part. I'm going to take off the paper part, and I'm going to put it on top right here like this and press it on right by the sewing machine. Okay, so you can see this is just for the purpose of this right here, so I can show you how I do mine, and then I will sew it on. I just take the papers off and I will have the shiny part. See the shiny part right like that? And I don't do the edges. I just go on and just stick everything on to my fabric just so I get it right. Now it's not sticky at all. I can still play with it on my fabric before I press it on like that. I have this little thing right here that I'm going to put underneath. This is just for the purpose of the video. I'm just going to press it on to make sure it doesn't move. And you don't have to leave on the iron forever. You just kind of press. Then I'll take this stem part right here. So this is my stem. Take the little peeling thing off like that. And then I'm just going to put it on. Just find a good placement for it like that. I'm ironing close to my sewing machine here, but it's just, I don't do that. This is just for the purpose of the video. And then I'm going to put the iron away, so I'm done with it. So as far as my stitches go, I'm just using this right here. I think this is the cover stitch. That's what they call it, the applique stitch. This is the applique stitch. So I'm using this right here. And I put my length to be 3.0. And I have this is like my practice fabric that I use to see what, how I want it to look. So I do have this, and this is what it's going to look like. So it's going to look something like this on there. Okay. Like I said, Applique and I are two people that know of each other, but we just kind of acknowledge each other and keep rolling. This is how I do it because it's not something that I do all the time. All right, so I am going to just press down, make sure that my needles, and again, I'm using a close enough orange thread to kind of match. Okay, let down this right here. All right, and then I'm just gonna go really, really slow, and then I'm letting the machine kind of guide me. I'm not perfect. So this is what it's looking like so far. And this machine has the ability to go really fast, but I am a novice are doing this, so, but I wanted to show you every aspect of me making this quilt, good, bad, and ugly. Which should be, this right here would just be really bad because Applique and I are not really friends, so, but we acknowledge each other's existence. Now that I've come to the end, right before I get onto the brown, I'm just going to lock my stitch in place. All right, so this is all completed right here, okay? So I want you to see up close the stitches. It's on, and it's kind of like giving it like a raw edge vibe, which I'm completely okay with because the more you wash this quilt, it's going to look nicer over time because this will be a little bit, it will raise up and it'll be a little fluffy. I am going to stitch this right here with a more of a cream thread, and then just kind of pin it in with like a permanent brown marker. It would not matter, I promise you. So this is done. That is it on that. This is the entire 5 pumpkins right here, like this. Okay. This is all that I've sewn on. So now what I'm going to do is put it onto the rest of my block and assemble them. Okay. I'm going to assemble it the way the pattern wants us to. So we're taking block 3, margin it with block 1, and then putting it together, and I'm sewing it. So we're going to make one long strip of the blocks. And then we're going to take the next one and piece block 3. I completed the entire quilt. I wanted to show you. So let me show you. Let me stand up so I can show you the entire quilt. So this is the quilt, and I'm going to show you the bottom part. This is the bottom. So this is what the bottom looks like, right? Like that. So this is the applique part of it right here. Applique all on as well. I'm liking the way it turns out. It's a little... So this is the entire quilt all put together. It's on my wall, basted with the backing, the batting, and the actual quilt top on here. I wanted to show you the backing for this. So this is the backing that I decided to use for this quilt. It is a metallic, like a gray metallic kind of fabric. I've had this in my stash. It's designed by Micro Miller. So this is kind of, I don't know, I got it a long time ago from my local quilt shop. It was kind of like a sale, so I bought it. I didn't know what I was going to use it for, but it was too much of a sale to pass up. You guys know what I'm talking about. When you see that sale and you just cannot pass it up, that's one of those. So it's Micro Miller, it's gray and gold, but this worked for this quilt. So when I kind of like didn't know what I wanted to use, there you go. I just used that. So it's on the back. It's still nice. It go with the theme. Perfect. And then the front right here, this pumpkin right here are all stitched on, all 5 of them. So, and then I also wanted to tell you this quilt right here was very forgiving as far as the colors. I mean, I guess this right here were like a pattern kind of, she wanted the yellow right here. They wanted the brighter color to kind of stick out, and it just kind of it added some pattern to it. This quilt, it's about 60 by 68, so it's not very big. It's perfect if you want to learn how to like use your machine for domestic quilting. It is perfect for that. I'm going to free motion quilt this quilt on my domestic machine, and then that way it is completed and done. Out of the 4 project that I wanted to do for the fall, in hindsight, it is a little ambitious on my part to have 4 done, working full-time, kids, family, and all that. I did not complete everything. I got 2 of them completed, the Halloween and this one behind me that I'm going to quilt today. And also started on the Witches Night Out. I completed 18 blocks of that. And when you told me that those pumpkins were not fun and easy, I see that. The pumpkin from the Witches Night Out were a little time consuming. I wouldn't say they're hard. I would say they are a little time consuming. So I was not able to finish it. Let me show you one of the block that I recently completed, and that will give you an idea on how intricate some of the blocks are on the Witches Night Out. Let me share that with you really quick. So this one right here needed to be 3 of them. They are all done, right? But these pieces right here are so tiny that you're cutting small, teeny tiny squares to make this star in between this one. And we need to make 3 of that. So I did make all 3, right? And then this one right here, I don't ever want to make this again because it is small half square triangles. So I'm going to show you the backing for this. The back of this block looks like this. Okay, this is what the backs look like. This is the best I could do. And then this is the other one. This is the back of it. That's the best I could do, right? And even that was a little bit of I think I lost a few hair and grew a few more gray hair making this block. So I don't wish to do this again, y'all. But anyways, it is done. I did 3. I need to make 4, so I did 3. I made this last night. I'm not going to turn that into a UFO because I don't like starting things and not finishing them. And that's my thing. Like, I have OCD really bad that if I start, I have to complete. So I'm going to finish this. Even though we've passed Halloween and it is November now, I don't know if I want to continue making Halloween blog. I do want you to comment down below if you still want me to just do like a short, like super short video on me putting these blocks together in case you've not made it yet and then you want some kind of encouragement and inspiration on making your quilt, and just in case you want to make it. But I am going to complete it. It's not going to be a UFO. I promise you that. As far as me completing 4 projects for this fall fun sew along, yeah, it was ambitious, but I did complete 2. I did a Halloween one and I did a fall one. So and then I started this. I haven't even started the Hocus Pocus. I didn't start. So that is not a UFO. It's just not started. Maybe I'll do it for next year. Maybe it'll be done before next year. I don't know. I'm going to free motion quilt this tonight and it will be completed. And then as far as binding, we didn't talk about binding. So binding for this, I don't know. I want you to also comment down below and let me know. I'm thinking about using like a brown or yellow. Both of those I have in my stash. I can use like a scrappy brown, leftover brown from that pack that I have. So I can just be done with brown fabric. Brown fabric is not my jive. I kind of want to use a brighter color on the for the binding, like this yellow right here. For the binding, or maybe a gray. I don't know yet. Comment down below and let me know what color you want me to use for the binding. With that being said, I've completed 2 projects out of 4 and the 3rd is in progress. I hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you so much for joining me today and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. So I want you to come back next time to see how we free motion quilt this quilt.